Dzień dobry Państwu, niedziela 23 dzień lutego i dzisiaj zapraszam tutaj na spotkanie partii New Blue, nowej partii ontaryjskiej, działającej już ładnych kilka lat, ale stanowiącej pewnego rodzaju odszczepienie od partii postępowo-konserwatywnej. I tutaj w tej partii słychać język polski, słychać polskich kandydatów, dlatego jesteśmy tutaj z wizytą, no bo za moment wybory w naszej prowincji. I proszę Państwa, proszę sobie przejrzeć program tej partii, bo naprawdę trudno znaleźć bardziej zdroworozsądkowy. Zresztą jest to jedyna partia, która oferuje bliski memu sercu program bonu oświatowego czy vouchera oświatowego, gdzie pieniądze idą po prostu za uczniem, co pozwala wykorzystać te pieniądze, które płacimy w podatkach na szkoły, również w szkołach prywatnych, zapewnić naszym dzieciom jak najlepsze wykształcenie. Zapraszam.
Dzień dobry. Dzisiejszy dzień to jest dzień, w którym celebrujemy święto flagi, święto rodziny, Valentine Day, ale również chcielibyśmy zaprezentować naszych kandydatów z New Blue. Teraz w nadchodzących wyborach mamy ponad 100 kandydatów i część z nich przyjechała tutaj dzisiaj. Będziemy mówić o swoich planach, o planach partii, o tym, jak chcielibyśmy, żeby wyglądała nasza przyszłość w Ontario. Także zapraszamy.
Czy to jest więcej kandydatów niż w poprzednich wyborach? Te 100 kandydatów?
W tym podobno mamy 108 kandydatów, więc w tamtym razem było 125. Ale w sumie no, bardzo krótki był ten okres, żeby zorganizować wszystko, więc myślę, że to i tak jest wielki sukces. Także w każdym razie wszyscy ci nasi kandydaci są bardzo nastawieni, bardzo patriotycznie, bardzo chcieliby coś zrobić po prostu dla Ontario.
Ilu wśród nich jest Polaków polskiego pochodzenia?
Trudno mi w tej chwili powiedzieć, bo część osób w ogóle nie ma...
A ilu Pani zna?
Ja znam 3 osoby.
Co takiego jest w Ontario złego? Dlaczego Doug Ford powinien przestać być premierem?
Bo jest korupcja, a ludzie nie są respektowani, tylko liczy się partia i politycy, co oni chcą.
A co trzeba naprawić najbardziej?
A przejrzystość, a potem korupcję i żeby ludzie zwykli mieli głos do wszystkich spraw, które ich dotyczą, a nie żeby polityk decydował, jak mamy żyć. I w Ontario nie ma wolności, a wolność po prostu wolność prowadzi do kreatywności. Jak nie ma wolności, nie ma kreatywności.
I jesteśmy przez to mniej konkurencyjni.
Tak powiedział Camille.
W jakim okręgu Pani można poprzeć?
Ja jestem Hamilton East, Stony Creek. I mogę powiedzieć, że miałam bardzo trudności dostać się na listę kandydatów, bo utrudniali. Chcieli mnie dać na listę z Independent, a ja mówię, no, ja jestem New Blue Party, nie pogarszajcie sytuacji. Wreszcie musiałam im powiedzieć, żeby dzwonili do Election Headquarters i naprawili i dostałam się na listę. I myślę, że głosowanie to już jest corrupted, ponieważ nie jesteśmy zaproszeni do debaty.
Czyli tych publicznych debat, które
tylko w telewizji... jest Liberals, NDP, Green i Konserwatyw, co jest, jak to się nazywa, interference with election.
Rozumiem.
Jak nie mamy wolnych wyborów i są skorumpowane, nie będzie wolności w Ontario.
No ale walczmy o nią w takim razie. Dziękuję Pani bardzo.
Ja jestem nastawiona na walkę.
Super. Też powinniśmy wszyscy być nastawieni na walkę właśnie.
Bardzo.
Wtedy może coś ugramy.
Tak.
Dziękuję bardzo. Dlaczego New Blue, a nie wiem, nie konserwatywna, nie...
Chcemy zasięgnąć jeszcze więcej trochę informacji. To nie jest tak, że my źle pójdziemy. Tak jest, tak jest.
Co takiego w Ontario trzeba zmienić? Co jest złego?
O, jest bardzo dużo do zmian. Bardzo dużo. Od szkolnictwa po szpitale, po wszystko.
Polityków, urzędników,
przede wszystkim polityków.
Szkolnictwo, tak.
Za dużo biurokracji, za dużo tych wszystkich rzeczy, które utrudniają życie normalnym ludziom.
Za dużo indoktrynacji przede wszystkim polityki, tam gdzie ich gdzie nie powinno być, jak to się mówi,
no właśnie,
polityki ani...
New Blue, oni postulują bon edukacyjny, czyli najlepszą rzecz, jaka może być, żeby pieniądze szły za dzieckiem.
Brzmi dobry pomysł, ale
tak.
Jak w praktyce to będzie, kto to przekręci, jakiś kolejny pan Soros, jak to przekręci, no to...
No ale to jest coś takiego, że pieniądze mam, moje dziecko idzie do szkoły, to są moje pieniądze, to co przypada na dziecko i mogę iść do szkoły prywatnej, dać te pieniądze, mogę założyć sam szkołę i tak dalej. Wtedy to jest zupełnie inaczej.
Brzmi dobrze, dobry pomysł.
W jakich okręgach panowie są? Czy pani, no właśnie, pani też męża popiera, czy jak to jest?
To raczej zawsze,
tak?
Tak jest, tak powinno być.
My jesteśmy od lat bardzo głęboko.
Południowa Mississauga.
Dziękuję bardzo. What do you think is broken with Canada? What do you think is broken with our provinces?
Well,
main thing.
Yeah, and it's Canada-wide, but especially in Ontario, I think there's a malaise where people just think that whatever we have is good enough, and I think there needs to be a new force in politics, and not just Ontario, but in a lot of parts of Canada, to kind of
reinvigorate,
reignite the actual responsible government, and putting back in place people in power who actually think about the taxpayer at least more than once a year, and it's not just a tax time when all the revenues come in. And so I'd really like New Blue to grow as much as we can election to election, and eventually start being able to win seats and actually holding the government to account. Only then will the government actually start doing anything fiscally conservative, because people would say, well, you can't split the vote, you can't risk the Liberals getting in. One, the PCs are like a half an inch to the right of the Liberals. Even on certain issues, they're actually technically a little bit more to the left. But the thing is, are they going to change unless there's an outside threat? And this is the two functions of New Blue. One, to get elected and make change in government themselves, and two, to scare all the other parties into getting at least a little bit more rational in the short run.
Do you think there is a place in Canada for real conservatives like Trumpies, something like that, to limit the government, lower the taxes, or we are just adjusted to spending, and each and every party just offers more and more spending?
We just saw in British Columbia the BC Conservatives, who were only 2% of the vote in the last election in 2020, they ended up coming in within a couple of seats of actually being able to form the government. They're like neck and neck with the BC NDP, and the BC Conservatives have a solid, very traditional conservative faction in it, not just represented by its supporters, but a lot of its MLA candidates and many who actually got elected. When you poll people, especially on things like parental rights or taxes and spending, tons of people will tell you the most conservative opinion you've ever heard on it, and you're like, well, why isn't there anyone representing this stuff? I think I saw a stat the other day, because usually Canadians, the generic stereotype is we're all in favor of big social programs, and that's what makes us good, is how much we spend on social programs. I've seen polls where 65, 67% of Canadians think that we spend too much and need to cut spending. Right. That's unheard of, and so I think that conservatives in Canada, whatever party they're from, we need to give Justin Trudeau a Lifetime Achievement Award, because he's been so bad in government, it's actually made people more conservative.
Do you think there are people for the New Blue Party, in the platform they have the school voucher, educational voucher? Do you think that well, this is the idea which can get support across the country?
School vouchers and charter schools have always been supported by the vast majority of the population. And you know it because every time a charter school opens up and there's limited space, there is a lineup of parents out the door trying to get their kids into it, because everyone knows implicitly that when you actually go outside of the public school system and you're at a school that has a stronger focus on real academics, that they're going to do a much better job educating their kids. The only people who oppose charter schools are usually the teacher unions. And even then, it's not even the teachers in the teacher unions, it's the union bosses who can intimidate the vast majority of teachers under their influence into being silent and basically trying to quash charter schools because it infringes on their, frankly, lower quality education.
Speaking about Trump and Trumpism, what do you think about those tariffs, the threat of tariffs? Do you think that we should respond with the equal ones, like Mr. Poliev said, or?
I don't really think that doing the retaliatory tariffs is as effective, because it's basically Trump, when he's putting tariffs on Canada, is basically saying I'm going to hurt my own people 25% on all their imports to get what I want, and us countering that by saying, okay, we'll also hurt our own people with 25% tariffs, I think is not a very smart way of doing things. I'd like to see us actually lower taxes and outcompete them and become the new hub for business development.
For business.
The hilarious thing about Team Canada that Doug Ford and Justin Trudeau are pushing was well, is it a Team Canada policy that Ontario has some of the highest taxes in North America? Is it Team Canada to have like injection sites everywhere? Is it Team Canada to be blowing out the deficit every year with wasted spending? Like, that's the problem. Is it's almost like they're mad at Trump because it's Ford and Trudeau's job to kick Canadians in the face. We have 53% top level income taxes in Canada, in Ontario, provincial and federal combined. Business taxes are like 18% federally. I think they're 12% provincially in Ontario. They're gonna balk at Trump, saying that, oh my goodness, he's gonna hurt Canadian, like ruin our economy if he does that. He's gonna hurt everybody. He's like, you guys have been hurting everybody. I don't want tariffs. At the same time, I can't hold myself back from mentioning the hypocrisy of the whole thing. People who overregulate and overtax, then saying, oh, I can't believe that nasty man would put a 25% tariff on us.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you. Why are you here? Do you support
Why am I here?
New Blue Party, or?
No, right now, I'm just trying to find out more about the party, but definitely we need some leadership that will definitely cover all issues. And my issue is crime against humanity, the human right. We don't have any more human right. Our children are dying. Our disabled are not looked after. They're dying. So is our senior.
What are you talking about? What do you have in mind?
The children dying. Well, they either starving, suicide, all kind of things.
So mental health,
everything.
Education.
But the thing is, you know what? They're dying of starvation by people that basically are getting paid to protect, and they don't protect. And the people know in the government, they know, they were alert. And like, what's so offensive to me, since 2007, I have been fighting, alerting the government, and Monique Taylor too in Hamilton, and and we went to his office about 5-6 years ago with a witness, and I told her about the number of children that was dying. We're losing 3 children a day.
Okay, but the number of children who are dying, so what are you talking about? Which children? Who are dying?
The children that goes in foster care. They don't die with mom and dad, they die in foster care.
Oh, damn.
And Monique Taylor went into the Globe and Mail, and she said publicly that she was mortified. She did not know that the children were dying. That's a lie.
This is because of the
Absolutely.
system.
Bad law, bad policy, and that needs to be changed. Because we have crime against humanity right here, and people know, and no party will talk about it. We need to talk about it.
Everybody's sweeping it up under the carpet.
That's right.
Okay. Do you think that with a new party ruling the province, it will be able to change the whole system? Or?
Well, if you want a good country, you have to start with the citizen.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
And you know, when
education, and this party is for the educational voucher, for the school voucher. Are you for it?
Yeah. But you know, about a month ago, this little girl disappeared. For a year and a half, she was under the care of the Children's Aid, and she was found in a dumpster. And for a year after the guy in Toronto, that the guy find her, they find her ID, and Children's Aid was involved. Now, how can it be in Canada that we have children that disappear for a year and a half, and the Children's Aid, nobody knows? I can't accept that. Can you?
that we get involved in our community, and I'm the candidate for Mississauga-Malton area. This is my second time running. I did pretty good my first time. I got almost 3%, and that was pretty good for my first election. And I am a nurse of 18 years, and I've worked under the Liberal and the Ford government. Nothing's changed, and we need change, right? Living here is getting so expensive, and you guys know it, right? We need change. We need our government to change. Taxes too high, wasteful government spending. We need to hold the government accountable. And I think some of you guys know what it likes to feel like to be under a government that, you know, oppresses you, and free speech and all of that. So anyways, I wanted to also introduce some of our candidates, and then I also wanted to introduce our speaker too. But anyways, regarding the New Blue Party, we're a small party, but we're growing fast. We're like the 5th biggest party in Ontario, and we're growing and really fast and quick. And why? Is because people like you, it's a grassroots movement where regular people, not career politicians, running, is just regular people representing regular people. So the thing is this, it's a small party, and a lot of people complain, I haven't heard of New Blue before. I haven't seen any signs and all of that. And I tell people, we're a small party. We need help. We need volunteers. Your voice matters. Every single one of you have a sphere of influence, and every single time you mention New Blue or you mention to your friends, your voice matters. So it's like a domino effect, right? I tell 10 of my friends, 10 of my friends tell 10 of their friends. It's like a domino effect. We need your voice to tell other people. We can't do it ourselves because it's a small party, and that's how we grow. It's basically a true grassroots movement. And so I really encourage everybody to be involved, sign up, volunteer, even if you're just going out passing out flyers. You don't need to talk to anybody, just passing out flyers or helping with the lawn signs. But please, you know, volunteer, because everybody, you know, matters, and every little things that you do, it does make a huge impact. So anyways, you already know me. I'm Van, and Mississauga-Malton for candidate, the candidate for Mississauga-Malton. But I also wanted to introduce some of my candidates here. I know some of you guys. I've worked with some of you guys personally. I know Renata. You guys already know Renata. And so I wanted some of the candidates to come up and introduce themselves. Thank you.
So my name is Peter Weimers. I'm from Oxford. I don't think there's anybody else here from Oxford. If you're not familiar with Oxford, it's the Woodstock area, Tillsonburg, Ingersoll, etc. And I saw the invitation from Van, and I says, can anybody come, or is it just local candidates? She says, it's open to everybody and anybody. I says, great, see you tonight. So here I am. I believe one of my favorite songs is called All That Matters. And in it, it says, there are 3 things that matter most to me. My faith, my family, and my freedom. And I believe that the New Blue encompasses those 3 things that I believe in. The New Blue believes in faith. In years past, generations past, every time there was a national disaster, calamity of some sort, what did the governments do? They came on the camera, they faced the camera and said to the churches, please open your churches, pastors, call your flock together to pray that the Lord would relent, that he would intervene and lift this calamity from us. What did Ford and Trudeau do? He said, no, close your churches, forsake fellowship. I'm going to tell you how to do worship. I'm going to tell you who's going to worship, and I'm going to tell you what to say. And my message to Doug Ford is, just because your name rhymes with Lord doesn't make it so. So the New Blue believes that that was an overstep of bounds. Government has no right to intervene in a church worship service. Romans 13 says that the church, or that the government is armed with the sword to punish those who do evil and to protect those who do good. And our current government has got that reversed. The New Blue also believes in family. Things have gotten too expensive, you say. The New Blue wants to get rid of the carbon tax, which is making everything expensive. Reduce the HST so you have more money in your pocket at the end of the week. to buy those supplies you need for your children, new boots, school supplies, a new bike, much needed car repairs, etc. The New Blue also believes in freedom, getting some provincial sovereignty, controlling our immigration, property rights. We believe that you have your property that you can own, enjoy, and profit from. No annexation of your own land. If you want to sell your land, it's at an agreed price. So that is why I'm with New Blue. Thank you.
I am Dave Brunel, a New Blue candidate from Simcoe North Riding, which is north of Barrie. Actually, I'm not the furthest from away. Jackie's from Haliburton area, Minden. So we drove here because we want to be with the New Blue family. We were involved in the last provincial election. Actually, and when we gathered with the candidates, it was a very, very powerful spiritual experience with the New Blue. It's only been around for 4 years, so I wanted to meet Jim. So we heard that he was at the Freedom Convoy, so Jackie and I went there. That's the first time I met Jim. Was he was speaking from the platform on the first Saturday there, and it was an incredible experience. I'm 10th generation from Canada. I bleed red, and it's an honor to represent New Blue because when the pandemic hit, it was quickly realized that our government was the one who was allowing this evil happening to our country. So I decided to step up. I'm a private sector person and never been involved in politics, but I decided to step up. Got involved with the BC federal election as a campaign manager. Then when New Blue was the campaign manager, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to, at the municipal level, I'm going to stand up and be a candidate. So I didn't get elected as an official with the Township of Tiny. In 2.5 years, I know a lot about what's going on the inside of politics now, and I firmly believe that New Blue is the answer for Ontario to fix the problems, to do politics differently. Bar none. Like that's what I do. I want to meet the leader, get deep dive into the policies and constitution and principles, and New Blue is it. We are growing fast. 7 by-elections since the last provincial election. There was 7 by-elections. 4 of those by-elections, New Blue got more votes than the Green Party. So we are gaining quickly for a party that's only been around for 4 years. So. Thank you for being here tonight. You're in the right place at the right time. Thank you.
My name is Jackie Barker, and I'm from, as Dave said, from the Haliburton, Kawartha Lakes Brock riding. And if you don't know where that is, it's 3.5 hours northeast. And I only moved there 3.5 months ago. I'm actually from Simcoe North. That's Dave and I went to school together. In the last election, Dave was a campaign manager, I was a co-campaign manager. Moved to Haliburton, didn't know anybody, and then the snap election, and I was begging a few people who I kind of knew of, please run, please run. And when I saw no one would run, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do it. You know, and I really did not want to be up front, but I was so passionate about this party, and I was determined New Blue is going to be on the ballot in this riding, and so I have stepped up, and it has been an unbelievable experience, and I have gained so much confidence and knowledge, and everywhere people are like they're almost in tears. They're so happy I've stepped up to run. Like I can't get over it, and I do meet and greets, and they're just thanking me, and I see the hope. It's like they have hope in their eyes, and I was just at a debate last week with the Chamber of Commerce in Lindsay. And there were 9 candidates, and the Libertarian and his wife at the end said, we're going to vote for you. And then the other candidate, the Freedom guy, said, I got to join your party, you know? So people, they get excited when they hear about us. So anyway, I'm happy to be here, and we just wanted to come in support of this area and what's happening. Thank you.
I'm running in Beaches, East York. My name is Thomas Gregory. I'm 20 years old. And I mean, I'm currently in my 3rd year at university. I study political science and I study history. And the last 4 or 5 years in Toronto and in Ontario, I think it's pretty clear that when you look around and you think about your day-to-day life, that lots of things have gotten worse. Everything costs more, like our infrastructure is not where it should be. I ride the public transit every day. I can tell you it's worse than it's ever been. And like, there's no real conservative representation from the PC party anymore. We have three parties that will believe in high spending and high taxation. And I mean, they don't spend the money as well as you do. They really don't. And I think that the ill effects of that are felt everywhere. Like, everything you do, you can see the negative effects of all of this. And then beyond that, there's also the divisive social ideology, which has clearly just made people more divided than ever. I don't know if anyone here has heard it, but hate crime is up like 251%. Last few years, and a whole host of other issues. The more the government tries to fix things, the worse they just make them. And that's why I ran for the party. I believe that we need a smaller government, that spending needs to be put into check, because if a government doesn't come in that does it themselves, one day the banks are going to make all the governments do it, because we're all going to be broke. And I don't know, like beyond just left-wing ideology, beyond right-wing ideology, I know many people in Canada are a huge fan of social programs and taxation. But just putting ideology to the side for a second, when you just think about democracy and the importance of diversity of representation, and then you look at the three parties, you see that they're really not any different. They're just arguing over where they want to spend tons and tons and tons of money at the cost of everybody else's personal lives. So I stepped up to run in the beaches because I didn't think that anyone else in my riding would do it. It's a very liberal area. In fact, I'm fairly confident that there'd be no one there if I didn't do it. So I feel like I did the right thing running for it, and you know, I hope all goes well with it. I hope that I'm able to gain support for the party in the riding. I hope that the party makes a name for itself this election cycle. I hope that people continue to stick around with the party, continue reaching out to people in their ridings even after the election is over. And, you know, even if we don't win, I hope that the PCs or even the Liberals and the NDP say to themselves, if we keep doing these things, if we keep spending all this money, if we keep pushing this divisive rhetoric, these problems aren't going to get better, they're only going to get worse. And, you know, maybe we can influence them to do a little bit better. But if not, I hope that the party just keeps moving forward.
I remember the 70s, and as a child, and I don't know if everybody can think back to what, you see a lot of pictures on the internet these days of beaches in the 70s. There's very few overweight people. And today, I'm sorry, but we've all got a problem with our health. Bonnie Crombie knows that, that's what I'm running against. And she goes on about, oh, we're going to fix the healthcare system, everyone's going to get a doctor. Well, I haven't talked to my doctor in 10 years, honestly. But from what I hear, people who talk to the doctors are there telling you, oh, don't worry about what you eat, it doesn't matter. Here, can I prescribe you some statins and get some pills and stuff? I'm sorry, but more healthcare is not going to fix our health. The onus is on every one of us to think about what you put in your mouth, because what you put in your mouth defines your health. And if you search online, and I have references, if you come to me later, I'll share them with you, people that have taken control of their own health, and they change within months. If they have long-term illness, it gets better. I'm talking about Alzheimer's, I'm talking about dementia, I'm talking about diabetes, especially second diabetes, I'm talking about toe fungus and skin tags and all that stuff. So anyways, that's a certain passion I have in my little campaign. But you can see, I'm not going to try to convince you of New Blue. Obviously, you're already here for the other policies that we have on the platform. I just wanted to share that with you. And come talk to me later, and we can have some more discussions about the details.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming here, and thanks for giving myself and everybody up here the time to speak in front of you. My My name is Daryl Brothers. I'm running for Streetsville, Mississauga. I decided to go with the New Blue because it's the only grassroots movement at the current time, and I believe that's the only way we're going to see real change in this province, or country for that matter. I'll go over some of the main points that I'm concerned about and feel strongly about. I'm here for my daughter and her future, and everybody else's, to be honest with you. The school system, with the sex ed and gender theory and all this woke nonsense, has no place for young, impressionable minds. Growing up is confusing enough for a kid, and I feel that that is just completely going over a lot of boundaries for me. Healthcare, we have many problems. When I was in between jobs, because I had been fired after 17 years for not wanting to take a treatment, I was volunteering at Big Brothers, or no, sorry, Habitat for Humanity, and a guy that was working with me there was a doctor from, I believe he said Trinidad and Tobago. He was a doctor of 25 years, but he couldn't become a doctor here because there was so much red tape. It was 3 years he had been here, and he, couldn't get through to do the test, or they have a cap on how many doctors they'll allow. That, I'm against any mandates. The media, I think that's one of the biggest problems we have. Mainstream media, that is. They've divided us to the point where, people don't look at each other, people don't talk to each other, everybody's got their face in their phones, everybody's, what haven't they used to divide us at this point? Everything. They've used it all. And then there's the weaponization of language that they use. In particular, the word conspiracy theory, which now I think is basically a spoiler alert. It's basically to shut down your critical thinking. And that it's been so effective to the point where people don't want to voice their opinions or ask the questions anymore, even though they may be completely valid. If it goes against the narrative, they can use that word and it'll shut your opinion down, right? It's not about truth anymore, it's about controlling the narrative. And if we can't have open dialogue and discussion, then we're headed down a very dangerous path. So yeah, I'm thankful for you all to be here and listen to us and give us a chance to talk. And that's basically why I'm here.
Hey, my name's Dylan. I'm with the University of Roosevelt in Toronto. After the last 6 years, I don't cut this country anymore. It was getting bad until we gave it to Ford, which has gotten 10 times worse in the last 5 years since COVID began. The media will twist everyone's words and tell you half-truths, and then if you disagree with them, say you're white supremacist, conspiracy theories, sit down, be quiet, and no one can afford to live in this country anymore. Housing expensive, rent's expensive, jobs don't pay what they used to anymore, and all your wages being subsidized just so the lobbyists can save a couple of dollars for a new boat where you can't afford anything anymore. Before I moved to Canada, everyone helped each other. Everyone was each other's friends. Didn't matter what race or culture you were, everyone was nice to each other. Now it feels more divided than ever because what egotistic government wants to divide everyone and put everyone against each other, just to fit its ego. I joined the Blue Party because one party, grassroots and provincial, they actually stood up for something during COVID. They didn't bow down, they didn't go to the lobbyists and just be quiet. They put the career in their life on the line, especially Belinda. It was the only person to serve for everybody. That's why I joined the Blue Party.
My name is Wisława Derlatka. I am a retired therapist, occupational and physiotherapy. I emigrated from Poland 35 years ago, and all my life, 27 years, I work in a hospital setting when I assist patients to get independence, patients with neurological problems, mental problems, but close to my heart was working on palliative care to improve quality of life. Patients with terminal illness want not only expertise, they want a kindness, humility, they want a simple caring for the patient. So working on palliative care transforming from shy woman to the strong woman, assertive, resilient. I always advocate for my patient to get better mattress, to get a better quality of life, and I always fight the bureaucratic interfering in the care. I told bureaucratic CEO can say how I should treat my patient. So, and then I retired because when the maid came, I said I can no longer be part of that hospital. Palliative care mission is to not increase the span of the life or cut it short. Palliative care is to enhance the life. So before joining the new party, I thought to be independent, but I say to myself, I won't have a chance as an independent. And new party had all the principles I care for. And my main platform is to involve young generation in politics because it's their future, and stand up to injustice. Every day I try to achieve something. Either I write to politicians and criticize their ways of life and saying that they are not, civil with their practice, and sometimes they get kind of, they can offend it, write me that I'm rude, but I don't care. I say what I think, and I continue to fight what is right to improve quality of life of Ontarian and to expose all the corruption, unjustified, breaking the criminal codes by politicians because they don't respect the human rights. Human rights stands that everybody has right to the autonomy, to have the right to care that they choose. Nobody should impose what is good for me, especially Ford. I said to Mr. Ford, look, I am fit and you are not fit, so how come you decide how my life should be, what I should take in my body? So I will fight, and I know the election is not illegal, but anyway, we should.
Yeah, no problem. Hi guys, how you doing? So my name's Tony Siskos. I'm the candidate at Etobicoke Lakeshore. I've joined the party because I've got a passion for politics. I studied politics for 5 years. I now work in corporate. And when I grew up in Canada, I never worried about survival. That was because I was living with my parents. But even then, I never thought they were worried about survival because Canada always had jobs. Canada always had an opportunity. And I don't believe in the rich and poor. I believe in the middle class and the community environment. And that's what I'm pushing for with the New Blue. I believe that's the best way we can manage the economy. I don't believe we should have a disparity in income. I think that we should have more of a social presence from the government to weed away social media and all the influences that the technology can provide. Technology can be used for good, but right now it's not being used for good, I think, for the most part. When the lockdown came, it was a big wake-up call. There's a lot of selfishness amongst people, and everybody's just trying to fend for themselves, and that's fine, but I never saw Canada like that growing up, and I have a passion to bring that community back and that middle class back so we can have an equal opportunity. Everybody has an equal opportunity who wants to work hard. So that's why I'm with the New Blue. I'm pretty short and sweet with it, and yeah, I hope we have a good time here. You're welcome.
Hello everybody, my name's Audrey Simpson. I'm running for Mississauga Centre. That's the riding I'm in. I joined New Blue because I like their values and their policies line up to what I believe in. I did run last time, I didn't win. I'm hoping I win this time. So what I did is I brought a QR code for my IG page, so can everybody come to me, and if you aren't on Instagram, get the QR code and follow me on my IG page and tell everybody that you know that lives in Mississauga Centre to vote for me, because I think we can win this time. It's just, we just need people to get together, tell everybody, and and make a change in Ontario. I want the taxes to be reduced, I want electricity rates to be reduced, and I also want the carbon tax to be axed, just like, and that's our platform, that's part of what we want to happen. So I mean, I think everybody knows we are overtaxed, right? I mean, I look at my paycheck every time and I see like almost how much money they take out for tax, and I just think it's too much. I am a life insurance advisor by career. So, if you guys want change, like, let's get together, let's tell everybody to vote for New Blue. Don't wait for another 3, 4 years, and suffer for another 3, 4 years. Like, let's do it now. And, just tell everybody, if we just tell everybody to vote for New Blue, no matter what ride-in they may be in, then I think we can do it, I think we can win. So I'm just encouraging everybody to get excited, help, tell everybody, like wherever you are, just say, vote New Blue, vote New Blue, on the ballot, our name's going to be there, and the New Blue is going to be beside it. So if they see New Blue beside the name, they'll vote for us. So hopefully we all get together and we win this time. Thank you.
I am a candidate also from Mississauga Lakeshore, but I would like to ask people to read our website. There is all program, all details, all candidates based on this program. They can offer all also for our society, for our future. And I would like also ask to vote for all candidates from New Blue Party. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Michael Bear. I'm running in the riding of Mississauga Erin Mills. I ran in the last provincial election also with New Blue, and actually the last federal election with the People's Party of Canada. What we witnessed over the COVID era was the greatest example of government malfeasance that we've seen in history. What the COVID era revealed is that we are being ruled by criminals. So it's really... For me, the New Blue is really a very simple choice. You have a choice between legitimate, honest, ordinary citizens to represent you, or you're just voting for some lobbyists. Like these other parties, these establishment parties, are completely corrupt. They can't even run a leadership election, a clean leadership election. They're just entirely rigged right from the start. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, and let's go with New Blue.
Do you guys remember the Freedom Convoy? The truckers? So I have one of the leaders here. He has a deep commitment to making a real change here, and that's why I'm so excited to have him here today. To speak to all of us about the New Blue movement, its importance, and why it's so important that we stay involved. All of you, like I said, are important and you all matter. So I just want to welcome BK.
Good evening, everybody. I apologize for the jacket. I just came back from South America about a week and a half ago, and I'm getting ready to go to Miami, so I try not to get acclimatized to this. It's interesting. I gave a speech in December in Florida to a room like this, considerably larger, but it was mainly Republicans. Many of them were members and are members of Mar-a-Lago. And there was a sudden interest in Canada because the night prior, Justin Trudeau was with President Trump being emasculated, And all they wanted to ask me about is Canada being the 51st state. And the reason for all of this concern was the premise of my talk was national security threats coming from Canada and Latin America, where I spent a lot of my time. But it was refreshing to see so many people so interested in learning about Canada and Canadians, the good and the bad. They asked me, is Canada on this downward spiral, or is it something that we can help revive? To which I said that's what the Freedom Convoy was about, us finally speaking up and pushing back. One of the other things I described or discussed a little bit was this room here, that people are so fed up with the establishment that has taken the country, turned it into a uniparty, and essentially done their best to throw it in the waste bin. But we refuse to back down. And I told them that the Freedom Convoy was just the first step in a long journey of the revitalization of Canada. Jim and I formed a friendship actually very quickly. I never really knew him when I was a federal candidate in the Conservative Party. It's a very big party, very big country. We were just kind of on different ends of the party. And when I saw what the party did to him, when they threw him out and he won his case, then they threw him out again, I reached out to him almost immediately because I knew there was a lot of commonality between the two of us. And we met very quickly, within, I don't know, a few days, a week or so, went for coffee, and we had instant chemistry. And we have formed a very, very strong friendship since then. So much so that Jim ended up being my lawyer during the POEC, that clown show of a commission that did nothing but lie to Canadians. But he was by my side the entire time. One day I'll write a book just about that. It's absolutely amazing. He also is still my lawyer, and because we do have an ongoing legal case where we're still being lawfared for $450 million for daring to stand up for our freedoms. Yeah, it's not over. That is still going on, and it'll probably go on for years. But it's for that reason I extend such thanks to Jim, and I appreciate the friendship that we formed over the years. We've gotten very close, a lot of very late night, very long talks about how do we revive Canada, what can we do? The other night we recorded a podcast together, which is going to be released tonight at 9 o'clock. It's an hour and a half long. I encourage everybody to watch it. It's a good metric to show how people can be such good friends, be so close. Yeah, there's some divergence on personal opinions here and there. But the two of us talk about how both of us were thrown out to the pastures and flogged by the establishment because we wouldn't play along with the corruption. We know what's right and what's wrong, which is, as he jokes in the podcast, there's no room for that in the political parties. But I encourage you to watch that, and I also encourage you to do everything you can to reach your families and your friends and your communities over time to explain to them why New Blue is so important. I know a lot of people in this room probably don't understand Bitcoin, and that's not what I'm here to discuss. But I'm very much involved in that community. I just gave a speech in Colombia, first ever speech in Spanish, on the Freedom Convoy and Canada and Bitcoin's role as the only money that couldn't be censored when we were there, which is the reason for the policy in New Blue. But what's the similar situation that you are all going through with your families and your friends, I go through too, both in trying to raise awareness about some of the very dangerous alien values that have come to Canada, trying to alert people as to the danger of that, trying to explain to them this freedom mechanism. That's what you are going through as well. And I often joke, the most difficult people to convince to change their minds are your families and friends. especially if you have kids, right? They're the last people going to listen to you. But stay the course. I was trying to say, you know, I did a lot of this with the Freedom Convoy. That's why you would hear over and over those 4 pillars of the messaging that I try to put forward. Peace, love, unity, and freedom. Repeat those to people over and over again. Eventually, they'll start to absorb it. It's the same with trying to communicate the importance of New Blue and the importance of freedom and having a voice in what remains of our democracy and what we're going to revive in the democracy. Sometimes, you know, there's a thing they say in marketing that it used to be people would have to hear a message 7 times until they even acknowledged its presence. In the age of digital media, the internet and telecommunications, that number is now 56. So when Van asked me, should I put up my signs on the street? Yes, because everyone is an impression. People have to see it 56 times and then they'll start to understand. This is why also Jim says, it's not going to be one election that's going to win the whole province. It is a process. And what you're doing is you are building the foundation for change and freedom in Canada. So even though it gets discouraging sometimes, I know I was a candidate for the Conservatives, and in downtown Toronto, you can imagine how well received I was. You just got to push through it. And there's also something with statistically in political sciences, if you shake someone's hand twice, statistically you have a 75% chance of earning their vote. You may not earn it this election, but you definitely will the next election if you follow up with that. So I just want to thank all of you for dedicating your time. And this was the hope that I explained to people in Florida, that there is something brewing in Canada of people who have rediscovered the importance of freedom over the past couple of years since the trucker convoy. And that spirit hasn't died, it's only growing, which is why it's such a threat to the political establishment and our fake news media. Very, very fake news. I don't know if any of you have had a chance. I know a couple of people in this room, right, Brooke, that have read my book, Honking for Freedom. This was not written for us. I mean, it was kind of written for us, but this was written for liberals, people on the center, people who don't understand the importance of freedom, the people who promulgate the importance of unity, but they don't actually practice it because they attack you or smear you if you have any questions about COVID. But what I'm very optimistic about, I know some of you have seen this, Dave, we were discussing this just now outside, that things have changed now. There are people that are not necessarily on the political right who are getting curious. We can finally have conversations with them. Have those conversations. And if you get somebody a little bit open-minded that's willing to listen, doesn't mean they agree, but willing to listen, give them a copy of this book. I promise it'll make them cry. And if you can get them to shed tears of happiness, then you'll bring them over to our side. Thank you very much.
What is wrong with Ontario? What happened in this province? Why the Conservative government, which is, well, nominally Conservative because they are called Progressive Conservatives, but they like to be called Conservatives. What is wrong with this government?
Well, they flip-flop to start with, right? During the election, they'll be Conservatives to kind of like get the votes from the Conservative constituents. Then once they get elected, they go progressive again. And that's why you'll see the Liberal and NDP not really resisting too much what Doug Ford is doing, because he's basically doing what they want. So the Progressives, when they're elected, throw money at the problems that they think is going to fix the problems. If this is a Band-Aid, so here's money, a $200 rebate check. You know, that costs.
But maybe they are listening to the polls, and the people want to have to receive money.
That's right.
That we are after the point of no return. That people just want to have more and more free money from the government. It's so-called free money.
That's right. But if you see, if you see the report from Leger that says that 43% of our cost, the factor of cost of living, is high taxes. The taxes are number one. So if we keep spending money, government money, and if you listen to the NDP and the Liberal leaders, they're saying we want to double ODSP payments. Where's that money coming from? That means that we have to raise taxes. We can't continue. That's what's wrong with Ontario. We've become the most expensive place almost in North America to live because of the high taxes. We need to reverse that trend to have more disposable incomes in people's homes, so they can live comfortably and have less government in their pockets. Number one, that's the main problem with Ontario.
Everybody's talking about Trump tariffs and the threat to our economy. What would you say to the people who want to have reciprocal tariffs, like $1 to $1, $1 to $1, that we should also get tariffs on American imports?
I'm an economist. I graduated from Lifford Laurier with an economics degree. Tariffs don't work because they just escalate the cost of things. They bring cost of living. We need to collaborate and cooperate with our neighbors. We should not pick a fight with Trump because we're going to lose that fight. So why pick a fight? We just want to collaborate and say, look,
shouldn't we just get our house in order firstly?
Take care of our borders. That's what. If we take care of the fentanyl problem, because the fentanyl problem is a much bigger problem than COVID is. It's killing more Canadians than COVID has. So we got to take care of that problem first and foremost, and we have to have more control over immigration. When you allow so many people to come to Ontario, 800,000 last year alone. The infrastructure in Ontario cannot handle it, so we need to do something about that. So that's what Trump wants. That's all he wants, is if we can take care of our borders, that we can get along. If I was your neighbor and I had all kinds of stuff from your place onto my property, I would say, you know what? It's either you can do something about it, or we're going to put a fence. I'm going to do something about it. That's what he's doing. It's like he's just doing what's best for America, for Americans. And that's what we should do too. And that's what you're hearing now. Is now let's buy Canadian. Let's unite as Canadians, which is great. But who started this movement was Trump. So we should thank him for uniting Canada.
So the last question is, what do you say to the people who just accuse the New Blue of splitting the vote? You guys are splitting the Conservative vote. You make the Liberals win. You make the leftists win. What do you say to this opinion?
You're only going to hear that during the election, because the PC party is going to talk about conservatism. They're not conservative. You're not splitting the vote when you're voting for New Blue. You're voting for the conservative portion of the half the people in Ontario are conservative. We're the only conservative party, so you're not splitting the vote with who? The Progressive Party? They're not Conservative Party anymore, so there's no vote splitting. And you make it sound like, oh, they have the monopoly on the votes. So when you have a new party that comes in, truth-telling, saying to Ontarians what, a lot of times as parents, when we tell the truth to our kids, they don't like it, but we know it's the best thing for them. We're telling the truth to people from Ontario. There's no votes, there's no monopoly. You don't have an ownership on votes. There's no such thing as vote splitting. It's just another ploy for remaining control of what they have and getting a stronger mandate, meaning they want more MPPs, and it's arrogant, and it's got to stop.
Thank you very much. So please remind us which riding are you in?
Dave Burnell, New Blue Party candidate for the Simcoe North riding, which is just north of Barrie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. By the way, there are lots of Polish people. They live in the Barrie area because they moved from Mississauga and Toronto.
Yeah, lots of people in my...
Good luck and all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.